ever feel like people have trouble understanding you when you speak English? You are not alone. In fact, over 70% of language learners struggle with pronunciation. I do sometimes. For example, in some of my previous videos I uploaded, I received comments from valuable viewers like you about wrong pronunciation of some words. Will that stop me from improving myself and moving forward? No. Rather, I need to work on my pronunciation. And you also need to do the same in order for people to understand you when you speak. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 simple but powerful tips that can help you improve your pronunciation. Tip number 5 will amaze you, so I encourage you to stay to the very end in order to know these powerful tips. My name is Temitayo and you're welcome to my channel. Tip number 1. Listen and imitate. It is very important to listen actively and imitate because listening helps you to understand what you are hearing, and when you imitate, it helps you to pronounce words exactly like the native speakers of English language. How do you do this? Watch the native speakers speak. You can do this by watching their TV shows or go to YouTube channels or even podcasts. You can also use the subtitles of their videos and practice these subtitles without them. This means after imitating these native speakers, say the words again without their videos. Look at this for example.
Now you need to imitate exactly what I say, and that means you're trying to copy my pronunciation and my word stress and even the pause in my sentence. You could even try and copy my facial expressions to practice communicating with more than just words. There's going to be a pause after each sentence so that you can practice out loud with me, okay? Or after me. So just relax and go with the flow. It's just you and me here right now, okay? So let's just have some fun. Step 2, listen and imitate. I've just come back from a trip to Portugal. Lisbon, actually. It was a bit of a last-minute decision. My friend was attending a conference there, and she convinced me to tag along. I don't usually make spontaneous decisions like that. But it all just happened at the right time. I actually didn't know that much about Lisbon before I went. Have you been? I had no idea what an incredible city it is. And oh my God, the food! I ate so many pastéis de nata, I thought I was going to burst. The city is full of beautiful cobblestone streets. I spent so much time just wandering around in the sunshine, you know? Winding my way through historic neighborhoods. Actually, one of the coolest things we did was jump in a tuk-tuk with a guide. We went up this steep hill and had an amazing view over the city. You know what a tuk-tuk is, right? It's like a little motorbike with a cabin on the back where you can sit. It was a really fun way to get around. And easier than walking because, oh my God, it was so hot. And our guide, her name was Paula. She grew up in Lisbon and she was just a wealth of knowledge. She was full of stories about her childhood and about the history of the city. She took us to cool little back streets and, we explored some amazing street art. There's just no way that we would have found all of those hidden gems ourselves. I really wish we could have stayed longer. Definitely want to go back there one day. What about you? Have you got any travel plans coming up?
Tip number 2. Practice phonetics sounds. Phonetics is the study of the sound of language. You need to focus on individual sounds, and these can drastically improve your pronunciation. I'll recommend some resources like International Phonetic Alphabet Charts. You can also use apps like Sound, the pronunciation app. You can check the link in the description box. Let's try to pronounce a few tricky sounds.
The IPA is the International Phonetic Alphabet. It's a set of symbols that represents the different sounds in English. Notice how the IPA is divided into different sections. The top half shows all of the English vowel sounds. On this left side, you'll find all the monophthong vowel sounds. It's a complicated name for a very simple thing. These are just the pure vowel sounds. Let's go through them. I, ship, E, sheep, book, ooh, move, egg, her, teacher. This is our relaxed, lazy schwa sound. We really need to relax our jaw. Or, door. I like to remember this one by imagining the shape of my lips, the same shape as that symbol. Or, ah. And again, I like to remember the shape of my mouth with this symbol. It's big, it's open. Ah. Cup. On. Car. So here's a quick tip. The sound with the two dots are long vowel sounds. E, oo, o, ah. This right side has the diphthong sounds. They are also vowel sounds, but they are different because each individual sound is made up of a combination of sounds. Compare that monophthong sound, ah, which is just one sound, with the diphthong sound, oi, which is two sounds combined to make one sound. So the oi diphthong sound is actually made up of the o and I vowel sounds. O, I, oi, oi.
Tip number 3. Record yourself. You need to record yourself speaking using sound recording or video recording on your phone. After that, play it back in order for you to identify the mispronunciation of some words. You can also use apps that gives feedback on pronunciation of some words. Let me show you how you can do this.
I recently discovered that Google has a tool for giving pronunciation feedback. So let's hop over to Google. You may have heard of it. And we're just going to search a couple of words. So let's start with kernel is how it's pronounced, but it looks weird, so we might be confused about that. And here's what we search. How to pronounce kernel. All right. Now you can search in English, but just how to pronounce and then the word. Search. Okay. So then they provide this little window at the top of the results. Of course, they're biasing their own results. You can see videos below, but we're really testing out this feature. So let's listen first.
Kernel,
Okay, that's a little fast.
kernel,
It's a little fast. Let me turn it up a bit.
kernel,
Okay. Slow it down.
kernel,
Kernel. So you listen to it a few times
kernel, kernel, kernel,
and then practice it as you listen. Kernel.
kernel,
Kernel. Okay. Now, how do I know if I'm correct? Well, one thing you can do is just develop your listening so that you can hear the difference, and that's a very powerful thing. That's what I recommend. But hey, let's this is what we're here for. Let's try the practice button. Click practice. Kernel. Oh, I didn't speak quickly enough. Kernel. Ah! I said I made a mistake on purpose. I said kernel instead of kernel, and it caught it. That's very interesting. Sounds like what you said. Kernel. 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 Okay, that's wrong, and they're telling me what's wrong. Try to say na instead of ma. They heard the phoneme, the sounds. Very interesting. How to improve. And then they give the description. Make sure your lips aren't closed. Try to touch your tongue just behind your top teeth and release air through your nose. That's a pretty good explanation. That's right. When you say you close your mouth. When you say you let the air come out of your nose and you block it with your tongue. Touch your tongue just behind your top teeth. That's really cool.
Tip number 4. Slow down. Speaking too quickly can lead to slurring words or unclear speech because the brain is trying to keep up with the fast pace, causing syllable to be skipped or matched, articulation to become sloppy, transition between words to become unclear, and mouth and tongue movements to become imprecise. These result in mumbled or slurred speech, making it difficult for listeners to understand what you're saying. Therefore, you need to slow down your speech in order for you to give yourself time to pronounce words properly. Let's see how you can do this effectively.
Learning to slow down your speech is a great technique so you don't mumble, you speak clearly, and you stay on message. Here's the technique that my client showed me. It's called the typing technique. So, I've discussed in earlier videos how to have an amazing voice by reading poetry out loud. Try that. Then add this to it, the typing technique. Now, the average speed of a speaker is about 150 words. Some are a little bit slower, some a little bit faster. You can time yourself and see what the rate with which you speak is. But in this game, we're going to try typing out at the same rate with which we speak. Now, for me, I type at about 120 words per minute. So that would really slow me down in terms of the way that I'm speaking. So for some of you who type very fast, 150 or more words per minute, maybe you could even try writing while you do this exercise. And here's how the exercise goes. Take a piece of poetry and imagine typing it out as you speak. So as you're speaking, you are typing at the same time. Notice how that slows down your speech, because I've talked to you about breathing, opening your mouth more than you're used to, extending the sounds of your speech. And all of these are important techniques which you can now bring to bear in the typing game. Simply type out your words slowly. Or, if you type too quickly, write out your words and notice how it feels to really slow down. Record yourself. Maybe even try practicing an impromptu speech, a 1-minute talk, where you do that for the entire minute. Then go back and listen to yourself. Now, you may think, oh, I'm speaking way too slowly, but it's funny as you go back and hear yourself, you may think, ooh, if I just picked up the pace a bit and kept that same centeredness and that same confidence and that same authority with which I was speaking during the typing game, wow, I would have a powerful voice.
I hope you are getting value from this video. If you have not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and kindly share this video to others who might find it helpful. Now, the last tip we will be considering is tip number 5. Apply shadowing technique. Shadowing is when you listen to a native speaker speak and say the exact word as the native speaker is saying it, right? As the native speaker is speaking, you are also speaking simultaneously with that native speaker. In this way, you will be able to know how you are pronouncing words exactly like the native speaker. In addition to that, it will also help you to see the area you need to make corrections in order for you to improve your pronunciation. It is an effective method used by linguists and language learners. Let me show you how you can apply shadowing technique in this short video.
You need to shadow me. And that means listening and speaking at the same time. Try to copy the rhythm and the tone that I use, even if it means you get a little tongue-tied at first. I've just come back from a trip to Portugal, Lisbon actually. It was a bit of a last-minute decision. My friend was attending a conference there and she convinced me to tag along. I don't usually make spontaneous decisions like that, but it all just happened at the right time. I actually didn't know that much about Lisbon before I went. Have you been? I had no idea what an incredible city it is. And oh my God, the food! I ate so many pastéis de nata. I thought I was going to burst. The city is full of beautiful cobblestone streets. I spent so much time just wandering around in the sunshine, winding my way through historic neighborhoods. Actually, one of the coolest things we did was jump in a tuk-tuk with a guide. We went up this steep hill and had an amazing view over the city. You know what a tuk-tuk is, right? It's like a little motorbike with a cabin on the back where you can sit. It was a really fun way to get around. And easier than walking because, oh my God, it was so hot. And our guide, her name was Paula. She grew up in Lisbon and she was just a wealth of knowledge. She was full of stories about her childhood and about the history of the city. She took us to cool little back streets and, we explored some amazing street art. There's just no way that we would have found all of those hidden gems ourselves. I really wish we could have stayed longer. Definitely want to go back there one day. What about you? Have you got any travel plans coming up? Wow, congratulations for making it through. What a mouthful that was. Make sure you save this lesson to a playlist and keep coming back to practice with me. Once you get comfortable telling my story, then you can try adapting your own travel stories.
In today's lesson, we have been able to consider 5 powerful tips that can improve your pronunciation skills. Tip number 1, listen and imitate. Tip 2, practice phonetic sound. Tip 3, record yourself. Tip 4, slow down. And lastly, tip 5, apply shadowing techniques. I want to assure you that if you apply these 5 tips, your pronunciation skills will improve dramatically and people will definitely understand you when you speak. Remember, consistency is key. I hope you got value from watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Also, share this video to those who might find it very helpful. Let me know in the comment section which tip is your favorite. I encourage you to watch this channel to get related videos for more language tips. In the next video, I'll be sharing with you study tips for effective learning. Thank you very much for watching my channel up to this minute. I'll see you in the next class.